there were dramatic physiologic changes by the simple act of changing their thinking. And primary was a decrease in metabolism. That is, a decrease in the amount of energy they were consuming, decreased heart rate, decreased rate of breathing, and muscle relaxation and change in brain waves. And I wondered what was happening, because no one had not adequately described this opposite state that seemed opposite to the stress response. And as chance would have it, in one of those serendipitous happenstances, the very room at Harvard Medical School in which I was making these studies was the room in which 40 years before Walter Buchanan in cats had described the fight or flight response. And I thought, well, maybe this is something that hasn't been viewed before. A bodily capacity opposite to that of the fight or flight or stress response. And if that be the case, transcendental meditation shouldn't be the only way to bring it forth. So what were the components, I asked myself, of transcendental meditation? And first we felt there were 4, but ultimately it ended up with 2. And the 2 are, first, a repetition. That repetition could be a word, a sound, a prayer, a phrase, or a repetitive movement. The second was that when other thoughts came to mind, you disregard them and come back to the repetition. And then these were days before computers. So I spent a lot of time in the library seeing in different cultures whether these 2 basic steps were there. And it leapt out. Every single culture of humankind had, usually within a religious context, had described these 2 steps. The earliest go back to about the 4th millennium BC, where yoga, the repetitive movement and breathing of yoga existed. And then there were meditative practices that started to come in. And in early Judaism, it was part of a process where people would kneel, focus on their breathing, and an each out breath and repeat the name of the magic seal, disregarding other thoughts. In Christianity, this evolved into the Rosary, where the repetition was Hail Mary, full of grace in different cultures. In Spanish, Ave Maria, in Italian, Ave Maria, in Portuguese, Ave Maria. Then in Islam, the same process called dhikr, where the repeated word was a phrase from the Quran. And the same in Shintoism, Taoism, Confucianism. There was a commonality of these 2 steps.
Wow.